it's a networking environment. It's a beautiful community, and it's a learning opportunity. And so, like, from the teaching perspective, I know you have more than just, more than most going on. And tell us about what you're doing with the ASD. You're working with the Arizona School for the Deaf and Blind.
Deaf and Blind, yeah. That's a. I just wrapped my portion of that up. Actually, it's a 9-10 week program.
Wow.
And it's
working with
the Museum of Contemporary Art is actually so the woman who's in charge of my portion is Marika Whitmore.
Oh, nice.
And she's doing she's at the U of A, and she's writing a paper about just like incorporating music into like mediums that are not necessarily like of and I'm not really 100% sure what her main topic is, but a lot of it has to do with like music within like community of people, like disabled people.
Yes.
And
making it accessible.
Yeah. And that's the thing with my portion of it was sound. So the next block is going to be dance.
Oh, wow.
And I'm volunteering to do this next portion because I really want to continue this program.
How was your experience working with disabled children?
It's crazy. So I did a guest spot at Pueblo High School where I talked about production and then I talked about DJing. When it was very condensed, it's like I only had an hour to go over this. And this is completely different because it's 6 hours total over 3 weeks, but I have to teach kids that can't hear about music
and can't see.
And that to me, like, that's insane. So like having to guide their hand, like teaching them just like a simple series of chords on a piano is literally like put your hand on top of mine and like feel this motion.
Wow.
And then like putting a piece of tape on the ones that they needed to be on.
Yes.
So that they could feel, where the tape was, so they can play their chords.
Was there one particular instrument throughout that resonated with both? Like, was there anything like, what was the most popular sound, most popular instrument?
The 808.
Yes.
100% the 808.
808.
So the second, it was crazy.
So you had a sub with you?
I had a sub with me. I had a sub. I had my PA, and I had everything kind of set to like the low end, so that it was picking up the low end frequencies and things.
Gosh, who doesn't love 808s?
Yeah, I know. But the first day, I'm explaining to them what we're gonna do. Did a few exercises, showed them like some of my music and some of what I was showing them, and they all really liked it. They all responded super well. Well, then I had them come up one at a time, and they were playing with the piano and the drum machines and stuff. And then I was like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna show you all something really cool. And I was like, this is an 808 kit. So these are all like 808s and it's a couple of 909s. I was like, and some of these are like tuned. And then there was one girl that, and it was like, that was probably the most like astonishing moment of the entire thing, because she came up and she's like hitting the snares, hitting the hats, like working her way down, and then it's funny because they all start at the top. Yeah. So like you have a 16 pad and they all start at the top right, and then and they get all the way to the bottom corner. Nice. And then she hits that one and it's like the big gated open, so it's boom, just right away. And she just like, her eyes get all big, and she like hit it again, and she's like super stoked about it. And then she looks at me and she like signs to the interpreter, because there's an interpreter there, because I don't speak sign language. Right. I barely speak Spanish. and so she signs to her interpreter. Interpreter just like starts laughing. And I was like, what'd she say? And she says she can feel it like in her shoulders. And I was like, good, like keep doing that. Whatever. And so then from that first experience, I kind of learned how to tune everything down a little bit lower so that they can feel it. Like it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Like teaching this course has been really eye-opening about like music as more than just like something to listen to, right? And like really expanding, like
therapy.
It's therapeutic, but it's like expanding the mind. Like connecting with people is so important with music, and I think that's like something that like we talk about a lot, like as musicians, as artists, everyone talks about like connecting with their audience. Definitely. But I think that there's never really like a lot of opportunity for you to like build and really experience that connection, other than when like somebody tells you like, oh, your music touched my heart, like this, and and that's great, and I love that. I love hearing people be like, yo, like your shit is so, like I was in my mind just like going through it, and I'm like, like thank you, like I love that. I love hearing that. But like watching people's faces like light up, and like seeing an entire room just shift.
Yes.
Just shift out of nowhere. Like the kids go from doing art to just like sitting there and then just like perked up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit! Like I'm commanding this room.
Definitely.
Of kids that can't hear me, but can like feel me.
It's phenomenal.
And it's super dope. So then
just through the sounds of the music and
Yeah.
the 808s and all that.
yeah. So then I had them all come through, and we were doing the drum machine stuff, and we had a little bit of cool interactions. I recorded all their sounds. I'm mastering them all this week, so that next week.
Nice.
Yeah. Playing.
Dude, that's phenomenal.
So how long have you personally been making music and
I've been making
into
music.
making music?
Man, I've been making music since I was like little.
Wow.
So most of my background is in like IT, so
Okay.
computers and stuff like that. And then when I was in high school, a friend of mine introduced me to Fruity Loops,
Nice.
which is how I got involved with like beat making.
Yeah.
But I had always I played the trumpet.
That's
and
what
I
I was
played the
gonna say.
baritone when I was
Okay.
really young. And then my parents always, I think for every Christmas since I was like 5, maybe 4, they bought me some sort of instrument.
Nice.
Like even if it was just like little Fisher Price nothings,
Yeah,
they would buy me something that I could just do stuff with. And I would and my mom would always tell me, she's like, it was the worst because we'd buy you all this crap and then we'd never knew where the batteries were for anything in the house, because you'd have like stuff that was just on. She's like, you'd have this whole like lab in your house, and like in my room just have this like lab of instruments. So I was like, and she's like, but you had no way to like loop any of that, like none of that was around when I'm a little kid. So they'd be like, so you just be like playing this and then you'd come play this
Yeah.
and you'd just be like in your room to entertain yourself. So I've always
One-man
had like
band style.
musicality,
Yeah, that's
And,
what's up.
yeah, trumpet was my big thing.
So hip hop. Why hip hop?
Man, hip hop, I have a love. The first album I ever listened to was Fantastic Voyage by Coolio.
Okay.
Really?
My mom had that on a CD. Yeah. And my mom used to do this thing every couple of weeks where she would like deep clean the house. And she had this huge CD player that was had like 30 something CD changer in it, right? And so she would just load it full of music, and she would clean the house. So like the house was just flooded with music of all kinds of everything. And one time, I think unknowingly she put that CD in there.
Coolio.
She
The
didn't mean
Coolio
to.
CD in there. I was probably like 5 or 6, and it starts playing, and I was like, she's like, you were just really little, and my eyes perked up, and I stopped it, and you're like, whoa. And so I was like, oh, go back to that. What are we doing over here? But like, having all that funk and having all like the soul, like my mom was really big on that, and even like country music.
Yeah.
And this is something I tell
that's
people all
all
the
in
time.
country
Music is nuts for samples.
Right.
Like if you want to sample something really crazy and like make a beat with it, look to like Chet Atkins is a perfect example. Tim
Really?
McGraw is a wonderful example. Like the way that they use like their slides and the way that they use like, some of the things, if you tune them down enough, and you put enough distortion, you can create a really crazy bass line,
Right.
Or even like a harmony or a melody.
Definitely.
Like it's like country music's really crazy.
Nashville, baby.
Yeah, blues, man.
Yeah.
Like blues in
For
general.
sure. It's just country music.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's the type of country music, and you need like looking into that. I have a battling banjos record that I use to sample really crazy things. Like,
I love that.
Crazy samples off of that. shit.
I use it to sample hi-hats.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'll tune them way up and then filter them out so they have a little air behind them.
Dude,
and then make like
I
a weird twangy
love
hi-hat.
dueling banjos. That's like one of my favorite.
Yeah.
I love dueling banjos, man.
Yeah, but I mean, but then since I was a kid, just hip hop just has always been.
No. We're closed today, buddy. Yes,
Closed
sir.
today.
Come back Monday.
So we have actual customers trying to come in the
We're
door
live,
too.
man.
You know, we're live.
Who gets a haircut on a Sunday?
This is what happens. This is what happens when you go live, baby. People see cars in the parking lot. They want to come in.
They wanna
It's
get that
just
fresh
it's
fade.
just what happens.
He's got a nice van. He's got a nice van out there though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Way to
right.
go.
Yo, man.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
mean,
man.
you know, I mean, it's anything can happen. That's why we're doing this here. It's live. Nothing. We're not trying to hide anything. So you listen to the show, you see people are coming in and out. People are getting it. No, nobody's getting their hair cut.